Yeah, let's call Moe's Tavern.
Moe's Tavern. Hold on, I'll check. Hey, everybody. I'm a stupid moron with an ugly face and a big butt, and my butt smells, and I like to kiss my own butt. Wait a minute.
Let's show you guys how I did that. Alright, so here is a demonstration of me calling Moe's Tavern at extension 16 on the voip.ms network.
What are we doing here?
I will tell you. When I call for my Russian business partner, Yuri Nater, I don't expect to be screamed at like I was some 10-year-old punk making a prank call.
Yuri Nater? Yuri Nater! Hey, my mouth is begging for a Yuri Nater!
Be careful what you wish for!
Why, I'm gonna chop you into little pieces and make you into a Rubik's Cube, which I will never solve!
And then it automatically hangs up, and if I call it back, 16, it's another random file.
Hey, just a sec, I'll check. Amanda Hugging Kiss? Hey, I'm looking for Amanda.
Okay, so let's show you guys how I did that using Proxmox. If you're using something like a Raspberry Pi, some of these steps don't apply to you, but if you're using something like Proxmox, I'm going to use a Proxmox helper script like this, Ubuntu LXC script here to make it, and I'm going to use advanced when I go to set it up. So let's get into this real quick. So what you want to do is underneath data center, click on that PVE. I don't know what yours is called. My existing Moe's is 107 Moe's. So just keep that in mind when you're going through your steps. You may call this Moe's, you may call this window, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But so paste in this, so copy that. Head over to the Proxmox. I'm actually going to full screen this so you can see it a little better. Paste in the script, and I've recorded this like 4 times, and I realized the host names can't have dashes. Duh. This will create the new Ubuntu LXC. Yes. Sorry if I got to be a little quiet. The wife is sleeping. Default settings. Click advanced. Very important you click advanced. There's a few things we got to change in here. Okay. Use the space bar. I don't know if you've ever used a few of these. If you screw up, you can just start over again. That's what I love about Proxmox. So here it is. I'm going to choose the space bar with Ubuntu, because that you could do this on Debian, but Ubuntu is working really well in my Proxmox experience. Debian obviously would be your Raspberry Pi route if you were to do this on that, which a Raspberry Pi would have plenty of power to do something like this. Click next. I'm going to do 22.04. Focal's actually no longer going to be supported, I hear, which is crazy. But Jammy works perfect for this project. You probably could do Noble. I haven't tested it. I guess I might on the next time I run this. Unprivileged. Set a root password. Very important you set a root password, something secure. You can hear me typing. 108 is perfectly fine for my container ID. 101, 102, 103. I'll do 108. I'm going to delete this after the video. Hostname. This is where you'd call it like Moe's, but I'm going to call this Moe's Video. No dashes or anything, because that's where I was getting hung up last time. So Moe's Video it is. 2 gigabytes is perfectly fine. 1 CPU core, if you notice is lagging, you can add more later. 512 RAM, fine. You can add more later. Your bridge, this computer, or this Proxmox actually has like 5 bridges because it's also my pfSense. I'm leaving it on bridge VM BR0 because that is my LAN. I'm going to leave this on DHCP, but a lot of my other LXCs and containers have their own static IP addresses. But in this case, DHCP is fine because I'm only going to upload the files to it. I only need the IP a couple times, and it's easy to find. Everything else as far as this IPv6, I'm disabling it. I don't use it in anything on my network. Everything else, DNS, enter through it. VLAN, for this, my other one's on a different VLAN, but for this, enter through it. Make sure you guys, very important, enable root SSH access. We're going to need that. And then verbose mode, we do not need that. No. Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. Don't get the coffee quite yet because it's going to ask you 2 questions. Where do you want to store it? For me, local. It may not, if you only have one storage pool, it may not ask you this, but for me, local. Where do you want to store the container? I'm going to do local. I could do, my 10.41 terabyte shared drive, but I'm not. I'm going to do local. Now go get the coffee. All right. So we made the container. It's all set up. This is the part that I always freaking forget, and I know you guys do too. After you make the new container through a script, you're all excited, it's all set up, but you forget to click over to the container itself and go in the shell. You just start working in like the main shell. I always do that. You guys are going to want to remember the shell 192.168.1.126 address, but we'll address that in a second. So let's go over to the Mo's video that I just created. All right, so you're going to log in. You're going to go to console, and then you'll probably end up on summary. So head over to console. Log in with root, and then that password that you put in, if I can remember it. Okay. It's always a good idea, if you look at my GitHub here, it's always a good idea, no matter, like, if you're starting a project from scratch or whatever, but do a, apt update and app upgrade with Proxmox. You don't need the sudo, or, well, you're logged in as root, so you don't need the sudo, but as practice, I'll just copy this and head back over and hit paste. Let that work out real quick. Okay, obviously it's been updated, it's brand new. Heading back over, I'm going to close the helper script window. Okay, so headed back over to my GitHub. Let's install Asterisk. I should actually append a Y after this, but I'll do that here. So sudo apt install Asterisk. Tack Y if you want to. That way you're not hassled. I don't remember if Asterisk. You know what? Let's see. Okay, yeah, you can do tack Y to get rid of that pesky Y. Let this do its thing real quick. If you're on a Raspberry Pi, this might take a little bit depending on your internet connection. Okay, so that is done. That was just real time. And then there's a few little tricks that I can show you. So you're going to want to edit the sip.conf file. But if you put like nano, let's go back here. Okay, clear that up. All right. So if you actually nano into the file, it's long as hell. So what I usually do is I will actually replace the word nano with RM to remove it, and then with the arrow key go up twice, back into nano. Now you're looking at a blank file. So on my GitHub, I have a zip file. You're going to want to take this zip file, copy it, go back over to this, the Proxmox or whatever you're editing in. I personally use Putty if I'm using Raspberry Pi, but paste that in, and you're going to want to change a few things in this file that like, you know, I can actually copy. Let me show you a better example of this. That exit, no, okay. Here's a better example without giving any of my information here. So using voip.ms, these hashes are like my account number, and then like the username. Like for Mo's, it's Mo's. So like if I were to do another extension, it'd be like Mo's video, and then my password for that SIP user, if that makes sense. And then voip.ms here on the top, because I use them. And then type peer, Chicago 4. Make sure all of your voip.ms connections, like don't use, like Chicago 3 and Chicago 4 won't talk to each other. Everything is on Chicago 4, same server in my house. Username is just going to be the 6-digit account number underscore, like, you know, the account number, account, sub account. And then the password, something really secret. Context for this case is going to have to be incoming, because that's what it's tagged as on my extensions file. So I would leave that. And then insecure equals invite. If I remove this or change this, somehow it doesn't work. There's a few changes that I probably will make to this file as I learn more. But right now, like internally, Chicago 4 to Chicago 4, my account to my account, this works perfect. So I'm leaving this as it is. Again, your information will be actually your real information on this page. So let's exit, yes, save. By the way, that's Control X, Y, enter, if you're following along. And then let's go back. You're going to want to create a WAV file where the file can be stored. And those files are going to have to be WAV format with a sample rate of 8,000 kilohertz, mono audio. And I used something like this, which is cloudconvert.com, MP4, because I pulled them from YouTube, to WAV. And then you can create like a mono file. Like it gives you, this website is actually cool, but they do limit you. So watch what you guys do. If you guys are doing like 5 files, 10 files, you're cool. Oh yeah, 10 conversions. So this took me a couple days back in September. I did this a while ago. So all right, so let's CD into the file that we have to create the directory in, just to make sure it exists. So let's CD, yep, there it is, it exists. All right, so then let's make the directory of WAV. That's where I'm going to save those WAV files. I already have those WAV files on my computer, so there we go, made, cool. Kind of up to you guys on this order on how you want to do this, but I'm gonna update. I'm actually gonna import those files now. So let's do IP space A. I don't know if you guys remember in the beginning of the video, this IP address is 126. You're gonna have to remember that for like one time only. And then, hang on, I gotta open up a using a WinSCP. Let's go to hostname 192.168.1.126. Root. Password. And then log in. Okay, cool. Update. That was just something internally. If it does that for you where it says like security breach or allow, it's an internal address, so you're fine. All right, so then on my, well, let's put that over there. Okay, so I have to look for user, share, asterisk, sound, en, and then wave. So let's go to the root, go to user, share, asterisk, where are you, sound, or asterisk, what am I looking for, sound, and then en, wave, the file we just created. Perfect. For me, all of the WAV files are labeled, 0922-2 through 26, which are in the zip file that are on this GitHub. Copying all of these, putting them onto the Proxmox server or Pi, into the WAV folder. Done. You can already close this out. Cool. Now we have to create the extensions.config file. So copy the sudo nano, that stuff here. Doesn't matter what folder you're in because I stretched out the folder. Again, there's stuff in this. What do we do with that? Exit that out. Back this off. RM, let's remove it. And then 2 arrows up, sudo nano, and then let's edit that again. It's a blank file. On my GitHub page will be the extensions.conf. Copy it, head back over to your editor of choice, paste, and let me explain this a little bit. This is fun. So let me open up the phone files folder. These are all the files that I use for this project. Again, 0922-2 through 26. .wav. Let me just start with 0922-1 was corrupted, so that's why I started with 2 and cut my losses on that one. So anyway, 0922-2 through 26, so 25 files. The rule has to be incoming because on that zip file we said context incoming, and that's where it gets that's where it picks it up from. Extension S. So this actually might differ if you're, I'm only doing this like on my internal extensions, but like if you want somebody to call into your network, this is where like the S, 1, answers the call, wait 2 seconds, which you have to wait 2 seconds because to generate a new random file you need that time. S, N. So if you guys are looking to actually get people to call into a phone number, like an external phone number, then this file actually would be changed, and I guess so would the zip file, but this file would be changed because the incoming route, I guess, is different. It wouldn't be N, it would be, I think, X. I can't remember off the top of my head, but basically the rest of this is the same, where it says like random 2 through 26 would be the rules. go to play file. Basically, it's pointing everything to what, and then every it kind of adds an extension per 2 through 26. So each, like, randomly play the file and then hang up. Randomly play the file and then hang up. So when I go to microsip and I dial 16, it's triggering one of these extensions, waits 2 seconds, and then it calls that file.
Yes, I'm looking for a Mrs. O problem. First name B.
Yeah, just a minute, I'll check.
So again, there's only 26 WAV files. I'll probably add more to my project, but if I dial it again,
Well, anything?
Can't look. Text.
so again, a random.
Ooh, a text. Let's see. Text message for I am a wiener.
So then again, a random file that will get picked up. So after you edit this, Control X, Y, Enter to save it. As long as your sip, as long as your like sip.config file is set up correctly, and your extensions are set up correctly, and those files are in the said folder that you're pointing to, this should work as long as you reload. What I left here is some troubleshooting notes. If you call into the extension, you get a busy signal. It's probably a sip, because a sip.config issue. Like, it can't point either to the right file, or it can't connect to the sip server. I know I'm using voip.ms, but you can also do this like free PBX or something like that, hosted locally. And if it's something that, like, you call it and it hangs up on you, or you get some weird noise on the line, it's probably a problem with the extensions.conf file. Other than that, you can run this sudo tail. You can actually tail it. Show you that real quick. You can actually tail it, where it'll actually tail when you call it. This kind of like a log, I guess. So if there's an error, you can kind of see where the chan sip error's at. Right now, this instance isn't connecting to anything because it's Mo's video. But if I head over to my other instance and run it, you can see like the frames. And if I call it, let's try calling it from my other phone. But yeah, it would update. 35. Yeah, it would update. Like if I let it play through. So anyway, I hope this video is something that you can have fun with. I know I did, and I am. So yeah, other than adding the TAC Y, I think this is kind of a cool video that you can host on a Raspberry Pi with some WAV files that are 8,000 by mono audio. Maybe just host like unlimited versions of I don't know, like hold music, or who's that famous painter, that the Bob Ross guy or something. I don't know. Have fun with this little project. I've had to record it like 6 times, so cool. Later.